step back a little bit?
Yeah.
We don't know who did the work. You heard that any of that information is redacted. We don't know who did the work. It's a giant secret. We know that by the time the FBI gets involved, the profile, the text file, that's a snip to use to try to identify somebody is more than twice as big when it gets to the FBI from Othram. We don't know how.
I've got an itch I can't scratch, I'm missing a piece that completes a whole part of me, an open wound scar to see. Everybody come here, gather round, welcome to the freak show, the best in town.
Yeah. I could tell you, similar to the 1112 film that we've seen, there are noises that I think instinctually as every human would have. That is, it's not a party noise. It's not playing or horsing around noises. It's you know, we're talking about a grown ass man who has been a veteran in combat making these noises.
Yeah. It's, in fact, it's, I gained a lot of sympathy for Kopacka because it's clear, it seems clearly that the system failed Kopacka. He was a vet. He was having some issues. And it didn't need to go down this way. If you watched we watched 8 hours of that standoff, and they never de-escalated. They never de-escalated this man. And there was no reason to have ramped him up to the point that it got to what it did get to. And I literally have lost sleep thinking about Kopacka's final moments and realizing what kind of terror that guy had to have gone through. And it wasn't necessary. And at some point, Brent says, "I'm tired of hearing your effing mouth." And the guy goes, "I'm going to keep doing this all night." And he goes at him, "I'm going to do this all night long. I won't stop talking." And I'm just like, you son of a bitch. Like, dude, like, let the guy have a break. You've done nothing but yell at him for fucking hours and hours saying the same thing. And he finally is like, "I'm tired of hearing it." And he's just like, "I'm going to do this all day long." There was no de-escalation whatsoever.
Yeah, it's sad, man. It really is. Yeah. And I know if anybody's in law enforcement or mental health crisis people, we're playing Monday morning quarterback. I hope, you know, DA and I, we can both address that. In general, it's a terrible situation. It's a tough situation. But with that being said, it certainly seems like it was known he was Brent Kopacka. He was a Purple Heart recipient and he was a combat veteran.
They knew that. Yeah.
And that, I would guess, takes it to a whole new level of instinct on how to de-escalate via training that, quite frankly, I just don't hear.
So this is the Coffee House Apartments in Pullman, Washington. The reason why Brent Kopacka's name came up for a lot of people is he was shot and killed 1 month and a couple days after the Idaho 4 murders on December 15th, 2022. The murders, of course, of the Idaho 4 happened on November 13th. 2022. And a lot of people felt like Kopacka's name was tied to the case and that he was maybe killed in relation to this. This happened to be, the standoff happened the same day that Kohberger and his father took off for Pennsylvania. Some people think it was related, the timing with Kohberger leaving. They talk about it when Kohberger and his dad gets pulled over. Remember when Kohberger and his dad get pulled over and they talk about the shooting on campus? This was it, right?
I'm so glad you said that because that is something that I don't know how it lines up. But not only is it's the same day, correct?
Yeah.
And then Kohberger's dad just so happens to bring it up. The same guy who, after Steve G is front of the Moscow PD, says, we might get their DNA from a family member. It might not be him. The same guy who they get the DNA off of a Q-tip out of his garbage 2,000 miles away when Brian Kohberger's driving the most wanted car in America on a cross-country 39-hour road trip and gets pulled over 2 times in 20 minutes for following too close. Yeah. And just so happens to be leaving that scene with no blood in the car, no DNA at the scene besides trace DNA and a button of a knife sheath or the loop of a knife sheath, no connection to the victims. The things that connect them all within are all things that they say really are not related, if you think about it.
Yeah. Yeah. And so, I mean, it's too much for this show to cover all the reasons why people think Kopacka was involved. But like you said, he's a Purple Heart recipient. He had been in 2 different campaigns. He had stars from 2 different theaters. He was in Afghanistan. He was 82nd Airborne. And again, people thought he was the kind of guy that was trained for knife fighting. Like he would have had the skills for Idaho 4. So some people felt that Kopacka was involved in the Idaho 4. He had the skills and the training to do so. And in fact, his best friend said, I think they came here that night what happened with the standoff, just for people who don't know, is his roommates called. Brent Kopacka was allegedly staying at the coffee house apartments that you see on screen. And they called and said, our roommate's threatening to kill us. He said that if we don't get out of the apartment, he's going to kill us in 5 minutes. That started the phone call. Hours and hours later, after 8 hours of standoff, at about 3 something to 4 o'clock in the morning, there was a kind of a shooting, and Brent Kopacka was shot and killed by a sniper. That's the official story. Rumors have gone around for forever that Brent Kopacka was firing at people in the parking lot. Other people said not a single shot was fired. That never happened. It was all rumor. You can't hear a single shot. I will say there is a gunfight. You hear a gunfight. I think we can put the rumors to bed that there wasn't a gunfight. There was a gunfight. There was rounds fired. It wasn't as straightforward as a sniper shooting, as they say. But before I get into explaining the logistics of what you're going to see, so we can put some other rumors. I just learned some of this stuff today. Is there any other questions you want to talk about specifically, Bertie, or want me to hit on?
Well, I think throughout this, one thing that we should continue to touch on is, why is it that people think Brent Kopacka is connected to the Idaho 4?
Well, yeah, I mean, the rumors are many, but again, it's because, one, he had a certain set of skills that could have done it. Then two, Brent Kopacka and Brian Kohberger may have both come from Pennsylvania. I pointed that out many times. They were both their families lived within an hour of each other in Pennsylvania. His mother lives in Pennsylvania, right about an hour from the Kohbergers, or maybe it was an hour and 30 minutes. A Crime Circus, one of the YouTubers that used to cover the case, showed that Kopacka actually lived in the same town where Kohberger was going to school. There's a lot of connections. And as I pointed out, and you saw before, Bertie, we showed where Kopacka told police one time that he lived, which was at the Pimlico Apartments, which is literally across the street from Brian Kohberger. They were literally across the street from each other. You could throw a rock. So what I want to show you, like on these pictures, is this is the window that Bertie's got up on here that allegedly is Brent Kopacka's room that he was shooting out of his window. And it was confusing to a lot of us on the location. But if you were to zoom, can you zoom in on that picture at all, Bertie?
I cannot.
It's probably hard to do that because of the way we loaded it. Yeah. So anyways, there's two walls. There's two retaining walls on both sides. You're looking out a narrow look way. So, or whatever how you want to say. Go ahead and go to the one that's the other image of that window. So that's what it looks like. It's a very narrow, narrow window looking out through this little small gap, right? And so I will tell you,
back and forth while you talk.
Yeah. And so what I'll tell you is this is on the 3rd floor window, room 311. And that's where the window that Kopacka had open. He had it open that night, and cops could hear him talking. They knew he was crouched down on the floor underneath his window with the lights off kind of thing. And then he started shooting out the window. Those blinds are all fuckered up because allegedly he was shooting a gun out the window and shooting up into the air. So you see there's a lot of stuff torn up at the upper part of those blinds. His glass is all broken out of the window. The one thing I want to point out to you, go back to the other window shot, right below, directly below us, is the staircase leading up to this apartment. And officers are in that staircase. When you listen to the audio that we're going to show, and all the subtitles that I put on, that's where the officers are standing, right below this window. And we were really confused for the longest time because Jordan, the roommate of Brent Kopacka, said that their room was a couple of doors down and he was further away from this. So we were trying to figure out why the SWAT team, which we got video from the SWAT team inside on the 3rd floor, right across the hall from Brent Kopacka with the door open, you can't hear hardly anything, but you can hear it crystal clear from the officers down on the street level. So we were asking, well, how the hell can they hear it so well? Well, because the officers are literally standing right underneath his window. And that's part of the answer why you can hear it so clearly.
Let me ask you this, DA.
Yeah.
Why is it that if this is a screen and this is the sliding window, why is there broken glass here? That's a screen. That's a screen. This is the window that slides. Why is there glass stuck to the screen all right here? That should not be, because the window, and you want to know how weird it is? It matches the same shape. So somebody make that make sense right from the jump, because there's so I mean, it's a great observation. There's so many things. Do you see out there in the distance, there's a staircase. That's a staircase directly out the window and trees. And we said, is this on the ground floor or on the 3rd floor? Why does it look like we're on the ground level? You can see the ground right there and you can see the staircase. And a lot of us were confused about, is this a 1st floor room or is this a 3rd floor room? I do believe now it's a 3rd floor room and we're kind of looking down at an angle. And if you were to look at the other video, I think, or the other picture of the window, I think you can see that same staircase a little better, maybe in the distance. But and all that broken glass on the ledge. Is on the inside. It's inside. If you shoot a bullet out, it's going to project out, and that screen wouldn't stand a chance.
Right. Well, I will tell you, they launched canisters, what's called a ferret round. They launched a ferret round through his window, and it exploded in his room. And then they launched tear gas, or OC gas, I think it was, maybe pepper spray gas, into his room through the window. So they did launch things through his window in his direction, but he also was shooting out the window, they said. So
that still doesn't explain this Glass.
I hear you. There's more questions on this case than you would believe. So anyways, right below, so out there straight across, if you could zoom in, is the staircase again. So that there's that green trees. There's a staircase right to the left of those green trees. So we believe that's kind of what you're looking at when you're looking out the window in that other picture. But anyways, enough of talking. What I want to share with you is, again, rumors have been around for forever that Brent Kopacka never fired a single shot. Rumors also were that a sniper took him out, and that now, by the way, we found clearly on the audio the sniper missed the first shot. The sniper missed the shot, and then they talk about Kopacka still crawling around on the floor, not because he was injured, but because he's staying out of the window. And then this sniper takes a second shot to shoot him. But when we heard what you're about to hear, 8 minutes or so of a standoff where it sounds like they go toe to toe with Brent Kopacka. And by the way, I showed you another picture of a hatchet stuck in the wall. There's the hatchet. There's the hatchet buried in the wall. What
the hell, dude?
There's a hatchet buried in the wall. So the timestamp in the corner is in Zulu time, 10:59 Zulu, which is 2:59 a.m. Pacific Standard Time on the 15th of December. So that's the time frame for you. We're in that recessed area where Brent Kopacka's room is right above us, a couple floors. So that's why you can hear things so well. There's a moment, by the way, just real quick for you as you're watching, because it's not explained in the video. Many people heard when they were watching, listening to audio, what sounded like them saying beanbag, 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 like they were going to deploy a non-lethal round. What I believe you will actually hear is big bang, big bang, big bang. Look at how different those words sound, beanbag and big bang. But you'll see the officers, when they hear big bang, big bang, big bang, they both step the fuck back real quick because they know a big bang is coming in, and they launch a grenade into his window. And then you hear Kopacka say shit, but it lands inside of his room, and it explodes, and then he shoots back at them, kind of thing. So it's a whole fucking game on thing. So listen carefully, watch this, see what you think. We'll talk about it at depth when we get done. It's about 8.5 minutes long, I think.
It's about 8.5 minutes. I'm not going to stop this, D. I think this is important to let people listen. One
more thing. If you're listening with headphones, be careful. This is really, really loud, and it's loud so that you can hear the talking. So when a gunshot goes off, it's really loud. So be careful with your ears. It could get very loud when you hear gunshots, because gunshots are fucking loud. All right, let's go ahead.
Yeah. That was another shot by him. Stop.
That was another one, yeah.
Pullman 456, there was another shot fired.
Still two of you down there?
Yep.
Okay.
Pullman 456, another shot. Damn it. If he jumps down, I'm just piling like this, but he's right there, so. We don't really.
You're very scratchy. We can't copy. He says staying in the bedroom below the window frame. I can see him throw things, but I'm not seeing him. Copy. Yes, living room now. Exit the bedroom with the gun. Black handgun in his hand.
Is that black handgun? Okay.
Read Aaron if they shoot him up there, or we're holding our position here until we're told otherwise, okay?
Yep.
He came out again and went back inside.
'My hips are starting to hurt. Happy birthday to me. Zero 0656. Are you back in JRD? Five, 6 copies. Make sure.
We're all here.
He's talking to himself now. 07, try a quick call.
Someone get this guy a cigarette.
You guys good down there?
Yeah.
Dude, I'll tell you what. DA, my gut tells me something is very wrong.
Yeah.
Something so wrong to the point where if you have a Purple Heart combat veteran and you're in the police force, see, I always hesitate saying this, but at the end of the day, somebody has to take it for what it's worth. Take it with a grain of salt. I've never been in that position. That's why I say that. But if I have a guy who served this country and is going through PTSD, I don't know if I'm making a happy birthday joke. I don't know if I'm, I don't know if I'm not completely dialed and just like sitting here, like ready. Like, I hope he doesn't snap. This seems, I don't know.
Yeah, it's tragic. It's disappointing. There's times when you hear them kind of snicker and laugh about what's going on. They even kind of laugh about the explosive round and how he screamed out after he got hit with the explosive round, and they're like, like there's just it's awkward. I don't know, what I would be like if I was a cop in that position. You're under a lot of stress, so I can't say how you would act. I Lord knows I say inappropriate things at inappropriate times, so I don't know. But yeah, it doesn't feel right. I think the guy's idea, so a lot of people take the whole happy birthday to me as like he's somehow like thinking that it's a birthday gift to shoot Kopaka. That's not how I took it. I think it was his birthday, and he's like, so this is how I get to spend my birthday, is sitting all night long in a fucking standoff where my life's in danger. Happy birthday to me. Like, isn't this fun for me? So I don't know that it was a mocking, like I get a birthday present because we get to kill Kopaka, as it was just kind of making fun of the, hey, look what I get to do on my birthday kind of thing. But it was tragic. And by the way, somebody called me on this and said, DA, why don't you tell the truth? He was killed by a sniper. And I'm like, the point is, did that sound like a toe-to-toe engagement? It sounded like they went in. It sounded like he said, are you ready to do this? Okay, then. Are you sure? And then it was on. And you hear explosives and rounds, and you hear shit being fired through the window. You hear slamming. Oh, fuck yeah, screaming. Like, is that a sniper taking somebody out kind of peacefully in the middle of the night? Or was that a fucking toe-to-toe engagement, it sounds like? But
here's what people have to realize is that if you were to take the connection to the Idaho 4 out of this is still an extremely high stake raid. It really is. You take any rumors of him being connected to the 4 kids that were killed, and this is, again, a Purple Heart combat veteran going through PTSD that ends up getting killed in a SWAT standoff. That's a hugely high profile, high stakes, local news, maybe even regional news story. It's terrible, right? But here's what I'm going to say about this Brent Kopaka situation. Hate it or love it, this is the truth. This is how I see it. This is my opinion only. But it's the same pattern, guys. It's the same pattern that we've seen over and over and over again. Same thing with the Las Vegas shooter, same thing with Epstein, the Nashville shooter, the Nashville bombing, the Pentagon on 9/11. You had all these cameras, yet nothing of substance. We'll just redact all the parts that could give you the answers.
Yeah. Yeah, and it doesn't make sense. They never show Kopaka's face. They have a moment in the evening on body camera where he opens the door and they are toe to toe with him, and they yell, hey, they tell him put the gun down. They actually step into his apartment and engage him, and they black box the whole screen. They cover it with a big black box, and we never get to see his face. The only time you even remotely see Kopaka was when they showed a moment with the black box redaction gone, where you see somebody from behind their back. You see a back. We never see Kopaka's face the whole time. Tell me what the purpose is of redacting the face of Brent Kopaka. There's no privacy issue there. It's the whole thing is just weird as hell.
Where's his body?
Never seen it. Right. Yeah.
Guys,
someone told me
there's a pattern. Yeah. There's a pattern though. And we're past the point of public not having access by first person POV video for the news. Okay. There are fights at bars on the low level of extreme. There are drive-bys with ring cameras and other people that are surrounding the area. There are people that terrorist attack in Australia with those 2 shooters on that bridge. They got the whole damn thing. You're telling me that nobody between King Road that night took their phone out their window and got all the ambulances or the cop cars through the windows on their blinds? You're telling me nobody in these apartment complexes was like, holy shit, there's a standoff with this guy. You're telling me none of that? I don't believe that.
There's a crazy, well, here's the thing. There's a crazy moment where a lady, literally, you hear those gunshots going off. There's a moment when an armored car comes out, an armored vehicle, a Bearcat comes out and is in the parking lot. They're taking cover behind kind of thing. Gunshots going everywhere. And a lady literally comes out. You can see her on camera. And she says, hey, my dog really has to pee. Can I take him out and pee right now? They're in the middle of a fucking gunfight. And she literally comes out and is like, hey, can I take my dog out to pee? And they're like, no, man, we're really going to need to wait to take your dog out pee.
Well, it's weird, bro. It's weird because we're in the middle of two situations. I think as a public trying to uncover this, we're in the middle of, all right. So if the situation's down the middle, we're in the middle of, on one side, these cops are not trained well enough, whether it's to investigate a murder, whether it's to not contaminate a crime scene, whether it's to handle a veteran with PTSD that's having a mental episode. Okay. That's on one side. Then on the other side, you have to fight with, and you have to at least acknowledge it. Where is any proof that this happened? Where are the bodies? Where are the blood marks? Where are cops who just say, I just killed somebody. Oh my God, I just killed somebody. I just killed somebody. Oh my God. Oh my God. And having their own panic attack on a body cam, like we've seen many times.
Yeah. You know what's funny about that too? You've seen 1-1 on our show and on your show and your chat with that. 1-1's current NYPD. And one of the things he said was, in New York, every time there's an officer involved shooting, they put that out there on the public for the public to see the whole thing. And they show the person's face and everything. I mean, they may redact the blood and gore if there's blood and gore moment or the actual shooting part, but you see the person's face who was involved in the officer involved shooting, and everyone in the public gets to scrutinize that video. So why here do we not get to see anything? I mean, his apartment largely is blocked, so we can't see shit in his apartment.
Nothing in it.
Nothing in it. No furniture. Yeah.
Phone perfectly on the countertop like a damn Mission Impossible movie. I mean, that's a fact. It's like, and it was scrubbed. And didn't he have a safe or something too that was busted open? That like
his friend said that there was a safe in his room that was open, and all that was in it was like his army, or like, his army discharge papers. And I'm like, isn't that convenient that the only thing that's in a room is his discharge papers saying, hey, look, I'm a vet with PTSD kind of thing. Like, it's like, how convenient that was left behind as the thing that to find in his room. Now there's more there, because I've seen the pictures that they released in the public records request we did of all kinds of shit on the floor. Not just that, but that's what they originally told us was all that was in there was kind of an open safe and a few electronics and his army discharge papers.
Hit like, hit subscribe, send this to your NPC normie mouth breathing friends that only watch the mainstream news. Have empathy for them. They're brainwashed. Okay. Try to wake them up. We have no refunds on the red pills. With that, I hope everybody has a great rest of their night. Go Hoosiers. I am excited to watch the IU Miami game. Nobody tell me the score right now. I'm going to exit off before I even read the comments. I'm covering it up with my hand. And DA, I will see you in 2 Mondays. Hive, I will see you tomorrow at 7 p.m. Central. Cheers, everyone.
All right. Go Hawks.
Yeah. See ya. Bye.
Birds flying high, you know how I feel. Sun in the sky, you know how I feel. Breeze drifting on by, you know how I feel. It's a new dawn. It's a new day, it's a new life.